So, Sister Sarah Baptiste, please come up with your questions. Can you hear me? Your mic is not on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so the first question I have is, how can you avoid being into this issue of Lashon Hara? You know, like they said, they have three people involved: the one speaking, the one listening, and the person that is being involved. So how can you avoid yourself in any of this party of Lashon Hara? Then the second question I have is, you said that for us to avoid this useless speech, we should keep silent. That is the best way to be in a safer path. So I'm saying that if you are being accused, how can you defend yourself? Because you said you're only allowed to speak when it's declined with Torah, or you are trying to motivate a particular group of people. So I want to know, how can you do all this? Then the other one is the quotation you were saying, but I didn't get it very well. It was not clear enough, so I didn't hear the quotation. It was actually two quotations. One was seven something, and the other one was 5. I didn't get.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sarah, for the questions. They are deep questions, and that is why we are here. We are here to learn in order to gain a deep understanding. First and foremost, you should know how to analyze Lashon Hara. There are 3 parties to Lashon Hara. You might be one of the parties, either as the speaker, the hearer, or the one that is being spoken about. So,
yeah,
if you are the one speaking Lashon Hara, after this kind of lessons, you will ask yourself, for the whole day, I spoke about people. What did I really say about them? Did what I said, or did what I have been saying about them build their image or reduce their image? The people in question, the people I spoke about, they are children of God. They are images of God. What did I just do with the images of God? Did I reduce them or elevated them? Under what condition did I mention their names? Because sometimes we mention the names of people, actually. We mention the names of groups, names of tribes, names of countries. And we talk about them the way we like. You know, it's very common around here to make mockery of one particular tribe, or even give the denigrating names that those people, this is, you know, they have denigrating names for neighboring tribes, neighboring communities, you know, because you feel they are not as good as you are. So you will be prone to saying things that reduces them when talking about them to other people. So if you are the one that is making the speech, then now you have to caution your mouth, caution yourself. Let me not speak such things about the images of God. There is one secret among soldiers. When they see a human being, they don't see the person as a human being if they want to shoot the person.
Sure.
They see the person as not an image of God. Because if you look at the person full with the glory of God, of Hashem, you won't be able to do anything. They look at the person as an animal. That's why when they go to war, let's go and finish those animals. They don't call them human beings. So that's exactly what we are doing when we are doing Lashon Hara. we are reducing the image of God. It's a spiritual thing, very deep spiritual thing. We are involved in, like cutting down the glory of God that is in the person. You reduce the person. So anything, gradually you can reduce the person to become an enemy, whereas the person is even innocent. So this is about the speaker now. This is about the one who is making the useless speech about somebody. So if you know that you belong to a group where they make such speeches about people, denigrating them, reducing them, and you know that person, whether a Gentile or a Jew, Christian or a Muslim, is an image of God, then what do? You pull out. You pull out, you disengage from that group that is prone to that attitude. Even in WhatsApp group, there are some groups, you go there, they discuss one person from morning to evening in a WhatsApp group. They discuss the person, they finish the person, they talk all kinds of things about one person. Even what I'm saying now, this is why this is what you need to know about inner Torah. There are great rabbis that say bad things about their colleague. That rabbi, this rabbi, they start to select good rabbis and bad rabbis for their students. In other words, that's the height of Lashon Hara. But where we are going now is you will get to a point when, even when you are supposed to speak, you weigh what you are going to speak. Is it going to reduce the image of God in that person? If it's going to reduce the image of God in the person, what do? You keep your mouth shut. You seal your lips. It doesn't even matter. There are levels of holiness you reach. Even when you are accused of something, you don't need to defend yourself. You just keep your mouth shut. I'm not saying that everyone should practice that, but you get to that level when you don't talk, even when you are accused. You allow time to say, to show the truth, to expose the truth. You get to that level, especially when you know you are not that type of person they are talking about. You keep quiet. So I've just said something about the speaker of Lashon Hara. You can stop it by weighing the people you are talking about. It's ignorance that will make someone feel that the other person should be reduced. So, please, if you are not talking, mute your mic. Okay, so I believe you can hear me. So if you are the one making such speech, what will make you stop is to see everybody as the images of God. Don't reduce them. Hashem did not reduce them. So you don't be involved in the art of reducing people's image by talking anyhow about them, reducing them, elevating yourself. This person is bad in such a way. I love him, but the way he behaves, no, you talk here, you talk there. It is even better you approach the person and talk to him one-on-one instead of carrying the story from one person to the other, to the other, to the other. You spread rumor or whatever. Then if you are the hearer, what do? You also apply silence. So that you apply silence or you stay away from where such thing is rampant. Then, if you are the one that is spoken about and you discovered, what do? It depends on your level too. If your image is damaged, you can call for redress. You can report to the authorities in your synagogue. That's why every synagogue needs a bedin, a Jewish board of judges that can educate, that can discuss issues concerning 2 or more parties. But there are people who have outgrown that. They don't care. If you like, talk 1 million things about them, they're on their way. If you like, ask them, you don't ask them, you say they are good, they are bad, they continue with what they are doing. These are the 3 parties. Then in each of the cases, I think silence is very, very important. Is that one of Lashon Hara okay by you? Before we go to the next question.
Yes, sir, but I want to point out something.
Okay. Go on.
Yes. On the person that is being spoken of. According to what have been, if you have been spoken of, it means you.
I cannot hear you. It's breaking. It's breaking. Can you type?
Frustrate some. It's not too known to the person. Frustrate a good character. People will see you. A character of a bad. Okay.
Type your question. Why I'll be talking about the other points. In the face of accusations, maybe if that is what you are talking about, in the face of accusations, what do you do? I said, if your image is damaged, you can make some moves by calling on various authorities. In your synagogue, you have a bedin that can handle such cases. If you don't have, then you should strive in order to establish a bedin in your synagogue, because it's not expected that 2 Jews take their matters to a secular court. So it's not as if you must be quiet. But what I told you is that some people have grown beyond that. I've seen people who are accused, but they don't talk, especially if the incident happens within the Jewish community. But in the outside world, if you are accused of something you are not guilty of, you take some legal step or whatever steps you think is necessary. You don't just allow yourself to be branded badly with bad names or the rest. So it's not too good you accept such accusations. Then I think she was asking about the level of pleasure. Having said that we should not indulge in excessive pleasure, it doesn't mean that the next time you want to go to office, you will wear shoes that are not good, clothes that are tattered, you will not dress fine, you will not cover your hair with good scarf and the stuff. You will not make up you will not dress to look a bit attractive. No. You cannot wear rags because they said you should not be involved in excessive pleasure. You can still dress well, eat moderately. What might be excessive to one person may not be as excessive to the other person. But that notwithstanding, you need to cut pleasures, because one thing that can guarantee your holiness is when you reduce what you enjoy, reduce enjoyment. So, and she was asking of demanded for some portions to be that I quoted. Okay. To what extent should one hate pleasure? That is from Ecclesiastes 7:16. And it started from Talmud, Tanit 11a. The Talmud teaches thus: if one who denies himself only wine is called a sinner, how much more he who denies himself all pleasure. So don't deny yourself of every pleasure because Brother Okuma just mentioned that, or the yeshiva just mentioned that we should not enjoy ourselves. Enjoy yourself, oh, please. Enjoy yourself. But the essence of it is what we are talking about. You cannot maybe wear only one type of shirt or buy only one shirt and use that one shirt for 1 year that you don't want to involve yourself in excessive pleasure. No, dress well, eat good meals, but you should know the boundary. Enjoy your husband, enjoy your wife. No, don't feel that the more I touch my wife, the more pleasure. So I'm asked to cut my pleasure. I shouldn't be touching my wife. No, enjoy your relationship to the fullest. You can flex. If you have another question, ask. But what I said is from Tanit 11a of the Talmud. And in the Tanakh, which is Ecclesiastes 7:16, it is written, be not righteous overmuch, neither make thyself overwise. Why should you destroy yourself? You know, some people do things in excess. You know, these are warnings to them. The person can be interpreted in a wrong way. So how can one avoid this? Yes, Sarah Batista is asking, a person can be interpreted in a wrong way. But there are these motivational speakers.
You haven't eaten anything today. You need to stop babying that. Take big bites and eat it.
Are you talking to us, Christy?
No, I am so sorry. I was talking to my daughter. I didn't realize I was not muted.
Okay. No problem.
I'm fussing at her. I'm so sorry.
Okay, no problem. If you are interpreted in a wrong way, there are people who don't care about what you interpret. They just live their life. Not until you accuse them one-on-one, they will not reply you. Anything hearsay, they live their life while you are doing your hearsay about them. You know, I think that's the best choice. Live your life the way you think is okay, as long as you are living according to the Torah. But don't try to find out all the time, what is this about? Who is saying this? Who is saying that? You know, you just return from work. You know, there are people who plant their children everywhere to listen to all types of gossip. There are people who plant their friends everywhere. Hey, what did he say today? What did Imam Beji say today? You know, what did Mama say today? What did you know? They try to get information. So that is also part of Lashon Hara, evil speech, unnecessary speech. So let's go to the last element. The last element we treat here is that of the earth or dust. In Hebrew, we say afar. If it is dust, then dust inside the soul, like every other element, has good side and also a bad side. You know, earth is related to something that has weight. So when one is depressed, what is happening? It means the earth element in the soul is dominating every other element. So if the earth element in the soul dominates every other element, what happens? The person will be prone to depression. There won't be joy in the person, no happiness, you know, no joy. There are times like that. We look for joy, we can't find it. We look for happiness, we can't find it. You open your Torah, you cannot read. You take your Siddur, you cannot recite your prayers. You take Tehillim, you cannot recite them. Why? Because at that moment, what is happening inside your soul is that the earth element dominates every other element. Yes, you are right, Sister. Ecclesiastes 7:16. So depression is rooted in the element of earth or dust. That is what you see in the person is depression. But what is wrong inside the soul is the aspect of the earth that is in the soul. That is what is wrong. So when you see somebody depressed, it's not something that is external, it's internal. That is the clipot, the dark side of the element in the soul is getting more powers than the good side of the earth. So in our tutorial, we have it earth or dust, depression or joy. What is the root of depression? The earth element is the source of depression in all its details, according to the Holy Array. What is the offshoot of depression? Depression is the source of the following. When one is depressed, what happens? It becomes lazy. You can roll on the bed or in the bed from one side to the other without achieving anything that day, without doing anything that day. And most of the things that cause depression, do we know the root? Most of the things that makes us become depressed, most of them they are things that are related to the material achievement. You are looking for a position, you cannot get it, you become depressed. You lose your job, become depressed. No food in the house, you become depressed. No money to pay house rent, you become depressed. No material things. I'm not saying that these things are not necessary, but these are the things that result in depression. Material pursuit, earthly pursuit, because the element is also earth. Okay? So laziness, this causes him to be slothful in studying Torah or fulfilling the mitzvot, either because he is depressed by difficulty of acquiring the vanities of this world, or because of the trouble that befall him. Such a person will never be happy with his lot in any matter. When one is depressed, in short, when sadness comes, always try not to enter the stage of depression. We are learners. No one is free from being sad. But when it is going towards the direction of depression, or it's going so deep that you're about to be depressed, you try to control yourself. So we are not saying that we are through with the rectification of our midot, but these are signs that we need to monitor. Moreover, no matter how worthy he becomes, it will never satisfy him. So when you see yourself not advancing in Torah studies, you used to study Torah before, but some days now you cannot study Torah due to laziness. That is, the element of earth is working in your soul. That is the meaning. The element of air is dominant. The element of earth is dominant in your soul. It's dominating every other element. So it's a cause in the soul. It's a disease in the soul. It's a sickness in the soul that needs to be addressed by the doctors of the soul, which are the Kabbalists. What is the tikkun for dust? Dust, dust, dust. He's always happy with his lot. You start to change your mindset. How can you be happy with your lot? How can you be happy with what you have? Whereas what you have is not even enough. How can you be happy? There is one exercise, I think I got it from Rabbi Nachman or somewhere, a kind of meditation. We have husbands, we have wives, we have children, we have cars, we have electronic devices. We live in a house. We have furnitures. Do we even at any point look at these things and appreciate Hashem? I say Baruch Hashem. You acquire certificates in your primary, secondary school, higher institutions. Have you ever picked up your certificate and say, Hashem, thank you for this thing? Have you ever looked at it with strong admiration? Look at it very well. Say, Baruch Hashem, I'm happy. I'm happy with this. You can create happiness. You can smile at everything, anything that is under your roof or under your possession. You can create happiness by that. When something bad happens, you can go to your room, lock the doors, and clap your hands and smile and thank Hashem for that thing that has just happened to you. Have you done that once in your life? You can create happiness. Many people are depressed because they are looking for happiness. Something you can create, they are looking for it from the external. It's inside you. You can create it. So let me stop there. I will not dwell too much on that. This is because he's realizing that it is all from above and everything that God brings about is for the good. So you can grow to a state where you see everything that comes to you that is from Hashem. You win lottery, is from Hashem. You lost something great, is from Hashem. You cannot sit with your neighbor and gossip the other one. You know, Hashem has come now, or you know, he's suffering because of that thing he did 10 years ago. You know, these are the kind of lashara. But a true Jew will not attribute the suffering of any person to any other thing apart from Hashem. Because the will of Hashem is superior to every other will. If Hashem does not will it, it will not happen. So knowing that it will not happen until Hashem wills it, meaning what? Everything happens according to the will of the Almighty. When you have reached that stage, you will not appreciate everything that happens to you. There will be no room for sadness. There will be no room for depression. Let me read this again. This attitude also results in alacrity with perfect joy in serving his creator, as scriptures. Psalm 119 states, I rejoice in your words, O Hashem, as one who has discovered vast treasure. Similarly, our sages state, make Torah study your permanent priority and your occupation a temporary one. This is how you need to live your life. Rejoice in your Torah, always be happy. Look at your children and smile. Look at your husband and smile. Look at everything you have, your wife, and smile. Look at where you have, what you have attained in life, and be happy about it. Each time you are not happy, you are trying not to appreciate Hashem. You want to do Hashem's work for him. That's why you are not happy. If you are happy, it means you are not doing Hashem's work for him. You don't want to take the government from him. So when you are happy with what you have, it means you are telling Hashem, you are the owner of the universe. You are the governor of the universe. You have everything. So let me study Torah. I'm happy. Even when bad thing happens to you, see it as the will of the Almighty, something you cannot challenge. Conclusion. The roots of all bad behaviors are the four midot ra'ot. The four of them are drawn from the four klipot of the Yetzer Hara, of the foundation of the soul. Inside the soul, you have klipot. This is the dark side. And all the bad behaviors, every bad thing we do, are rooted in those klipot, the four klipot. Their opposites are the four midot tovot. So opposite of those bad things are called the midot tovot, which are also four. When the midot ra'ot are established, those who have started this course with us, they understand what I'm saying. When the midot ra'ot are established in a man, he refrains from fulfilling the Torah and misvot. Even if he does fulfill them, it won't be for the sake of heaven. On him it is written, like a gold ring in a pig's snout. Because his impurity is still in him, he is clothed in the clay pot. Now, we are here talking, but inside our soul, there are a lot of impurities that we need to remove. Observing Torah will not remove them. It's working on the midot that can remove them. So before you start observing Torah, you must work on your character. That is why this program started with midot. Remove your shoe. Moshe was asked in Exodus 3:5 that remove your shoes remove your shoe from your foot. What does that mean? The shoe is the lowest part of the body. When somebody stands, where do you see as the lowest part? Is the shoe. So in our soul, the lowest part of our soul, which is called nefesh, is where is rooted all these bad things. Remove your shoes means you should do what? Remove the bad characters before you will go on the mission. Moshe was asked to remove his shoes, his sandals, because he had a mission to fulfill. Without removing the sandals, he cannot go on the mission. So without removing the midot ra'ot, those evil clipots in the soul, which are there because of the 4 elements, observing of Torah is a waste of time. You are just observing Torah to disgrace yourself. The shoe is the lowest part of the body, namely the heels. Midot ra'ot are the shoes, lowest part of the soul. The sages said, if he visits midot, his Torah will become the Eliezer of life. But if he doesn't merit, it will become a dead portion. You see, this is so deep that the Holy Ari is telling us, if you don't remove the midot ra'ot, you don't fix the characters, the Torah you observe can be a death sentence, Hashem forbid. You see why many people are suffering, yet they observe Torah. They claim to be great Torah scholars, but there's so much suffering among them that does not show the Torah they observe. Why? Because inside the soul are hidden sicknesses, causes that they are supposed to work upon before they talk of Torah. Therefore, make efforts, wage a war against the Yetzer Hara, rectify the midot, and fulfill Torah mitzvot. Then you will become a Zadik Gamon, God-fearing and a mighty person. Baruch Hashem. This is the end of tutorial 12. So we've traveled from tutorial 1 to tutorial 12. Thank you very much for being with me. Thank you for partnering with me in Torah study. I'm so glad that all of you are here. Try as much as possible to come back on Thursday while we do the Kabbalah of the Sefirot. We do the Kabbalah of the Sefirot. And in that program, we still talk about Kabbalah in Africa, the Sefirot in Africa, how our people practice the Sefirot in Africa. Shalom. Thank you very much.
Shalom.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shah. Tunda Rabba. Baruch Ado. Hashem.
Okay.
Shalom. Thank you.
Welcome, my sister.
Thank you. Great job, brother. I'll see you on Thursday, Hashem willing. So have a great week, everyone.
Thank you. Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov.
So we are ending it here. Hope to see you again on Thursday. Toda rabba, everyone.